Hello, welcome to wrapping up 2025 and the things I want to do in 2026 or change. Short warning, this video might be a little bit on a chaotic side because I do have all the points written down, but because one thing leads to another, it might be that wrapping up 2025 just go straight into what I want to change for that in 2026. So please be aware of that. And with that disclaimer out of the way, Happy New Year. I wanted to use my mics, but they are still drained and I need to charge them some more. Because earlier when I tried to do this in the morning, when I was a little bit raspy and stuff, they all died. Like both. They were low on battery and it takes a while for them to charge, so we're doing it via phone mic. Also, yes, this format, as in this position, might be the last time we do this. Maybe. We'll see. I have to make sure that what is it called? A stative? Is it? Wait, let me check that. Yeah, it's a tripod. Okay, stative is also the way to go, but I guess people call it also a tripod. I sometimes forget to call that, but maybe starting tomorrow. It depends on when the parcel arrives. If it is tomorrow or like on Saturday, I'll be able to lift up the camera and have a different POV. And I won't be also holding my phone for different reasons. So yeah, that is today the last time we are doing it this way. However, it is going to be good because once the thing is there and my phone actually fits onto it, that is the major key. My phone needs to be able to slip into its holding, grabbing kind of thing. I'll be able to do those TBR sort of things. Or I don't know, depending on what my mind comes up with, in a more peaceful way. Yeah, because sometimes I have to hold my phone or I have to put it like on stacks of books and then on a furniture and then another stack of books or something. I don't know, it's weird. It's oftentimes not even like straight angled. It's right now it's not even straight. Wait, let me fix that. Now it is straight. Because my phone wasn't entirely in its phone standy thingy. It's not a tripod, it's just like something you can put your phone on. And then that is stacked on, in this case, a sketchbook. And then a book sleeve. Like those cushion kind of book sleeves where you put your phone. Yeah, you get the gist. So, yeah. Today's the last day I'm doing that. So, I'll try things out before I'm doing the next video, which is possibly being a anticipated title kind of video. I don't know in which language I'm going to do it, if it's going to be in German or in English, or if I'm splitting the video and do it in both languages. Haven't made my mind up, because the thing is, I read in both languages. I read in German and I read in English. I've started to read even more in German since I started my trainee years. I am finishing my training this year. That is something I can absolutely finally say. I only have oral exams left at the end of January, and then I'll be a full-fledged bookseller. So let's wrap things up at least about 2025. It was not the greatest year so far. I remember my life so far. 2025 was not a great year, but it also was not the worst. I think it was an year. Something which is not good enough to be at least solid or right, but it was also not bad enough in my from my experience to be absolutely garbage. Because honestly, if we are thinking about it, the past years have been fire downstairs, and I do not know which is worse anymore. have hopes for 2026, but I'm still here in January. So much to that. Where great and good things happening as well. I made pretty fond memories, but there were also things which I wished took a different turn. Because 2025 was like that, and I noticed changes in myself to the end of the year, which I kind of want to keep at 2026. Maybe let's look at 2026 in general. Generally speaking, for 2026, I want to be a little bit more calm, because even when I seem calm from the outside, I am not always as relaxed internally as I wish I was. And sometimes I mean, there's this phrasing of fake it until you make it, but I want also to be as calm as I seem. I have a tendency to sometimes do things pretty rash, not thought through, and I kind of want to change that, because there are times, of course, you have to like react pretty quickly, but it doesn't have to be all the time. And for the matters which can take more time and into considering what you want, I really want to do that. And that does not have to do with tattoos or stuff, which I got last year. I thought about this piercing like the septum, which I got at the 2nd of December. For I think a couple of months, I've at least, it came to my mind here and there, but it became a more solid idea, and it's something I tried out more with filters or something, or like, I don't know, I asked friends who know me what I would think about it, if that would look good on me, and yeah, it's a solid thing. So now I have this piercing. I'm very happy with it. It is healing pretty well, I must be honest. I also don't regret getting the tattoos I wanted, because, for example, the sparrow has been something I had on mind for ever since I think I finished Below, which is the second book of the Traces trilogy, for the first time. That's been years now, I think. Let's get to the actual Bookstagram, book talk, booktube stuff. Okay, so first of all, when it comes to reading and writing, so let's say reading was mostly consistent, and then I had blocks, let's say it like this. I try to push through it, because most of the times when I push through them it works, but this time it was very, 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 very stubborn and didn't want to let loose of me. I ended 2025 with reading the Robert and Monk duology by Becky Chambers. So you might know them by the title A Psalm for the Wild Build and A Prayer for the Crown Shy. Those two books, I finished them still on the 31st. I finished the second one on the 31st, and that was such a great way to end the year, because that book, I really loved that. I think I gave both of them 5 stars. And my goal, like reading goal wise, in 2025 was to read 60 books, because I've done so well in 2024 with the amount. But to, like, I wish, when I was like setting that goal, I thought like, yeah, that is easy to make. And then I got those curveballs in the middle of the year, which led to blogs, which also led to enjoying less of the books and sometimes reading just for escapism. And only to the end of the year, I really realized, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to like breeze through books just because escapism. I kind of want to take my time with the things I read and enjoy. Yeah, and to enjoy, especially because I want to read more for enjoyment and less for escapism, because I've done that for the last 2 years, I notice. Due to that, my goal for 2026 is reading 40 books. but with intention behind it. I want to read it for enjoyment. I want to get the itty bitty small pieces out of the stories. I want to notice things which I might have not noticed when I was just breezing through the books. I want to put a little bit more thought behind what I read. It is also like I don't go on a book buying ban. Obviously not. I'll try to just be a little bit more thoughtful with my spending about books. And it's going to be hard, but I want to read more before I actually buy or request more books. I want to give it its respectful time to be read finally before it really collects dust. I also hope when I read like more with thoughts behind it, like when I read it with more consideration, that I'm also doing a better job in recommending those books. Because like I remember the feelings that books give me, but sometimes I forget maybe like when I really rush through a book, I forget the intrinsic parts, which like the reason maybe a book gets a higher rating. Like I want to put more thoughts to that. Just I like to challenge myself, and I'm not gonna be mad if I don't meet my own criteria. That is something I really want to work on. Being less hard on me, because I've been very hard on myself for the last months at least, maybe even longer. And I want to change that. As in when I know, first of all, it is going to be published. Second of all, it is in the process of being published. And I don't mean it being written, but I have a better grasp on once the major steps are maybe done. I want to promote those books only then. This is why I am like saying, yeah, I'm writing, but I'm not going to tell you what. Of course, it's going to be a book, but I'm not going to tell you which of the drafts or stories which I started, which of them it is. But I can tell you so far, it's going to be the projects which I've talked about on Instagram before. I am mainly focusing on them so far. So if you scroll, you find them. At least the ones I'm more open about and more inclined to talk about. What I also want to do for a writing thing is sit more in cafes or hop between coffee shops, and maybe also write with people. I want to be able to just meet people and maybe sit with them and just write, be it with my best friend, in case she is still writing on her project. Melly, if you were watching this video, I keep watching. I hope you're writing, because the story you're working on is lit, in my humble opinion. So yeah. So much of that, yeah. Maybe a friend, whoever is available for creativity. I mean, they can also work on something else writing wise, but I like, which I kind of miss a little bit in of that time. Either it was on Discord with that friend, or in Frankfurt it was an exchange. Because the thing, and which I also really loved when I was sitting with my best friend, it is exchanging. Like when you think especially when you think you're stuck, and they come up with, how about this, and then your wheels are clicking and turning again in your brain, and you finally find a solution to something you thought was a problem, but you just needed a little push. It's great. It's, at least for somebody who is considered somewhat of a social butterfly. Hi. Oops. If I didn't talk about the blog posts, here we go. I want to do them monthly, but at the end of the month, so that I have enough material gathered to publish it then, so that I don't have to like catch up on the previous month when I post in the next month, so that I can just really focus on 1 month and not somewhat slip it into a 2-month thing. It also feels like a nicer way to just keep it consistent, if this makes sense. Like if it is at the end of the month, or maybe the first day of the the next month. Because when I was trying to keep things in the middle of the month, it just, yeah, it was more chaotic than it was before. It was consistent somewhat, but it was just as chaotic. So now maybe that kind of shift in the schedule helps actually elevate with also other things which, yeah, come in the way of writing actually this blog post. I want to do also a lot more on the post, like on social media. Not a lot more, which is that was hyperbole of me. Let's say it like this: I want to post a bit more consistent in general, also on YouTube, on Instagram. TikTok is a question mark. I am distancing myself from TikTok for simply the reason because I don't like that platform anymore in general. I kind of want to post more regular, whatever regular entails, if it is just once a month or if it's going to be more times a month, like twice a month. That really depends on what my schedule is looking after my training. So after like starting February, I might be able to make myself a bit more of a schedule of how I want to publish things, or like push things, post things. You know the drill. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for 2026. You can just take the entirety of 2026, and that is just going to be me trying to be more relaxed, a little bit more consistent with things, and to simply enjoy life and stuff. So yeah, that is pretty much what I consider for myself for this year. What are your goals for 2026? If you have goals, if you're somebody who is also into New Year's resolutions, you can just write them in the comments. Or if you don't want to write anything in a comment, you can just leave, I don't know, if it's very duck emoji, you can do that. Yeah, I'll see you on the flip side, which is most likely on Instagram and whenever I post here again. So yeah, I wish you a lovely day and see you around. Bye bye.